Members of America's founding WASP families, Osborne and the younger, less wealthy Grant among them, were proud that America was so attractive to outsiders, but panicked by the millions of new arrivals. 3 years earlier, in 1913, the 17th Amendment had taken away one of the oligarchy's most potent sources of power when it mandated that the U.S. Senate, conceived by the founders as a U.S. version of England's hereditary House of Lords, be directly elected by voters instead of state legislators, who were often in thrall and debt to their local gentry. That the Senate would come to be greatly influenced, if not controlled by corporations, demonstrates how money came to trump blood in the American hierarchy. Immigrant voters were an unwanted wild card. The Anglo-Saxon branch of the Nordic race is that upon which the nation must chiefly depend. Osborne wrote in a second preface to a 1917 reprint of Grant's tome, "In no other human stock which has come to this country is there displayed the unanimity of heart, mind, and action, which is now being displayed by the descendants of the blue-eyed, fair-haired peoples of the north of Europe." The book and its endorsement by an eminence like Osborne outraged the editors of Dorothy Whitney Strait's The New Republic, who deemed it dangerous. The future Nazi dictator Adolf Hitler would read a German translation in prison while writing his own Mein Kampf, and in a fan letter to the author he would call the passing of the great race his Bible. In summer 1934, in the same month Hitler declared himself Germany's Führer, Osborne, nearing the end of his museum career, sailed there to collect an honorary degree from Goethe University in Frankfurt. Osborne was in essential agreement with Hitler on the subject of race, and his Nazi party eagerly sought the Americans' approval of its policies. Osborne couldn't help but be impressed by the discipline of the German students and flattered by the attention of their professors, who had already survived a purge of those who disagreed with Hitler's positions. And upon his return to America, he issued fulsome praise of Germany's racial restrictions. Criticized, Osborne called negative press coverage of the Nazis misguided and a one-sided reflection of the biases of Jews, who he insisted controlled the media. Germans could teach America a thing or two, he proclaimed, adding prophetically, "To observe the spirit of the young Germans is to realize that the world will have much to deal with in the not-too-distant future." Before those words proved all too true, Osborne would die after a life of good fortune and an extraordinary career propelled by erudition and showmanship. He began his career hunting fossils but ended it in disgraceful irrelevance due to his virulent prejudice, dismissed as beyond the pale by a longtime museum colleague. His fall marked the abrupt start of the decline of the American patriciate in the 20th century.